Hello, Chisme.
Hello,
Merry
hello.
Christmas Eve, everybody. Or Merry Christmas if you're in Australia. Merry Christmas, Kaz.
Merry Christmas, Kaz. Merry
Ugh.
Christmas, everyone.
Hey, Jess. Hey, oh, look at
Jess,
Nicolina.
Mark.
Look at, we have a little Grinch.
Oh, not on Christmas
I would delete
Eve.
it. People lie all the time. Use something. Okay, Nicolina, you have a Merry Christmas. Hey, Jess. Hey, Jennifer. You guys ready for Christmas? I'm the Grinch.
You're the Grinch or Nicolina's the Grinch?
I'm the Grinch this year.
Oh, yeah, I saw Plunder's body cam footage.
Yeah, we're going to check that body cam footage out from Plunder. Hey, Edward. Hey, Sassafras. Hey, Living with BB. But you know me, I'm going to start with, well, first I want to share the video that I want to get out on Madalina before we get into anything on the Idaho 4. It's a 9-minute video, so I'll play that real quick. Another one, another child that goes missing and the mother does not report the baby missing for almost 3 weeks. After the school gets a hold of her and like, where is the kid? And then she's like, I don't know. I was afraid to tell you guys that she was missing. And wait till you see the stepfather. All right. We'll go ahead and check this out and see if we get anybody else in on Christmas Eve. Look at us with no lives. Live on Christmas Eve. Gonna stay up all night and wait for Santa.
Is this Christmas Eve? Oh, and you're part of your neck of the woods.
Well, yeah, you have an hour.
Yeah. Well, we got 2 turkeys.
Lilac, Lana.
Someone gave us 2 turkeys.
So, yeah, you said that last night that you were going to give one away.
Yeah, and I forgot to call the guy that donates them. So now we have two thawed out turkeys, but I'm going to try to call them first thing in the morning.
Well, you know, it's not like you can't put one in the freezer, girl.
Save it for Easter. Yeah, or New Year's Eve.
I'm making pasta this year.
Tomorrow.
There's only going to be like 6 of us because, you know, all the kids are down south and they have their own families. And I'm in a winter storm right now. It's going to get down to like 15. Okay, let's go, guys. I need to share my whole screen for this so I cannot see chat. So let's watch this video. I really can't stand listening to my own voice. Tell me if you can hear it, Chisme.
I can't stand my own voice. Okay, I will.
Yeah, just tell me if you can hear it. You hear it?
I hear the intro. Yeah, it's a little low.
Here we go, guys. It's only about 8 minutes long, but it's on Madalina. And they did come out with an update. I guess the FBI released some new photos, but that's about it as of today. But this is all the updates in one.
Okay.
And I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a drink. everybody a welcome in. We have another a baby that went missing in November. She wasn't reported until this month, December 2022. The mystery of missing Madalina Cojocari, 11 years old, from North Carolina. And with that, let's get into the timeline of her disappearance and the arrest of her mom and her stepfather. How many children, kids, can you think of right now that has gone but was not reported for months and even years after the child has gone missing? Well, Madalina Cojocari went missing and she was not reported missing a few weeks later. So who is Madalina? First, let me start off by saying that my thoughts and prayers go out to Madalina Cojocari's family, the ones that hopefully care, love, and miss her, but obviously not her mother or her stepfather. So she was born April 11th, 2011. She has brown hair, brown eyes. She stands about 4'10", weighs around 90 pounds. She's a white female. She was last seen at her house in Cornelius, North Carolina on November 23rd, 2022, and was reported missing to her school on December 15th, 2022. Madalina was wearing jeans, pink, purple, and white Adidas, and a white t-shirt and jacket. If anybody knows anything, say something. Report your tip to the tips.fbi.gov. And let's get into this timeline and the arrest of her mother and her stepfather. Let's try and understand the timeline of the disappearance of Madalina. November 23rd, Madalina goes to her room after her mother, Diana Cojocari, gets into an argument with her stepfather, Christopher Paul Amiter, and there's an age difference between these two. Diana Madalina's mom is 37 years old, and Christopher Paul Miter is 60 years old. Thanksgiving, which was November 24th, 2022, Christopher drove to his family's house in Michigan. And on that same day, at around 11:30 a.m., Diana realizes that Madalina is missing from her room. So we are not realizing this child is missing by her mother until the next day. Yeah, no wonder they have been arrested. We'll get into that though in a minute. Then on November 26, 2022, Christopher returns to the house and Diana tells him about Madalina disappearing, but they don't report it to the police out of fear and conflict with her husband. Out of suspicion, the school resource officer attempted a home visit as Madalina had been absent since November 21st, 2022. Madalina's mother and the stepfather filed a missing complaint to the officers on December 15th, 2022, and on December 17th. They were both arrested for the failure to report Madalina's disappearance. And when these two lovelies were asked about Madalina's whereabouts, none of them had a clue. No idea where Madalina was. They then were in court Tuesday, December 20th. I think they're being held on a $250,000 bond. And Diana was also indicated that she hindered the investigation and begrudgingly reported her missing daughter, while Christopher is also being held on a $250,000 bond, which has been increased from initial $100,000. And they have absolute no clue where this child is. Where is her biological father, and does she have any grandparents? This was an update by the Cornelius Police Department, December 17th, 2022. And here they are. Christopher Paul Miter and Diane at Cojocari. Now, does he not look like a creeper? Yeah, big age difference. Just them as a couple to me is totally bizarre looking at these pictures. And interesting too that Christopher went to Michigan for Thanksgiving, but the wife and mother Diana did not. And of course, that was the last time Christopher claims he saw a Madalina, was before he went to Michigan. Let's go check out little Madalina getting off the bus and then give an update on these two, which were in court. And so here she is getting on the bus. She's dressed nice. She looks clean. Her hair is done. Her little backpack looks pretty normal. I don't know. And let's go ahead and just slow it down and then listen to a little bit of this news article, and then we will go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah, Siobhan, as you said, investigators and Cornelius Police Department officers were seen at the home earlier this afternoon, and WBTV was first on the scene as this unfolded. And here's some of the video of what that looked like while our crews were there. About a dozen law enforcement officers arrived at the home around 5 p.m. and they left a little bit after 8 p.m. So roughly 3 hours they were inside of the house. We are working to figure out why they were there and what evidence, if any, they may have found. There are still a lot of questions about what happened to Madalina. Today's search comes as WBTV obtained new court documents in this case that detail probable cause. Arrest warrants show Diana called her family in Moldova and told them Madalina was missing. They told her to call the police, but she still waited to do so. She finally told Madalina's school that she was missing, and deputies asked why she waited to tell them. She said she believed her husband put her family in danger and that she didn't know what happened to Madalina. Now, during Diana's court appearance yesterday, prosecutors argued that she has hindered this investigation and will continue to do so if she is ever released from jail. Here is some audio from the courtroom yesterday.
The defendant in this case did not report her missing for 22 days, and even then she did so begrudgingly. She has hindered this investigation. She has raised concerns that if she is released from custody, she will continue and more so hinder the investigation and the search for this girl.
Her husband are still in custody. Diana was given a bond of $250,000 while her husband's was set at $200,000. Both are expected to appear in court again next week. We will continue to update day by day as we work to figure out these developments and find out exactly what happened to Madalina.
My thoughts on Madalina are not good. I do not like the feeling that stepfather gives me. He is just, I just get a very bad vibe off of him. And I'm even starting to wonder if she was seen by her mother on the 23rd. I'm thinking that she went missing November 21st to the 22nd. And I bet they are definitely checking the route to Michigan. Please drop your thoughts in the comment section. We will continue this at a later time, look into the parents' background, and just try to understand why these parents are just awful. People like this do not deserve to have children. But Christopher, he definitely is very strange, in my opinion. But with that, it is a wrap. Have a good day or night wherever you are. What a shame.
She's so cute.
Isn't she the cutest little thing? Like, she looks like she wears a size 5T. I mean, little. When they said that she was 11 years old, I was like, she is a tiny little thing. I had one that was still wearing a size 5T in second grade. Let me turn off my phone. I think that was Santa Claus calling me to let me know he's not coming. All right. Is everyone ready for Santa Claus? Did everybody make cookies tonight? That's the one thing I miss, making cookies with the kids.
Yeah. We're going to make the gingerbread houses. We were supposed to make them a few days ago, but we never got around to it.
I used to like making the peanut butter ones with the chocolate kiss in the middle.
Mm.
All right, before we get into the body cam footage, let's go listen to the I've only got one video we're gonna watch tonight, guys. Well, a couple little ones. On Ashley Banfield had a good one. Surviving the Survivor actually had a good guest on today that I didn't get to listen to the whole thing. But I love that show. It's probably gonna strike me.
And I sent that link to It's News Nation. The one about the Uber driver.
Yeah, the Uber driver too. I want to definitely watch. Now, this is the lady that's on the sidebar on Law and Crime, which I like Jessie better, but she's good because she gets the women insights. But I like the guy on the top right.
Okay.
I still can't get over what Dale Carson said. I left Dale Carson an email today, guys. Another email to his office.
Okay.
And I even asked what his fee was because I will pay him for a half an hour to come talk to us. And I ordered a new internet box, an Insiga, which is coming in a couple days, and it will have 100 GBs. So then I'll have 150 to play with.
Nice toy for Christmas.
Yep, I got that, and I got myself a pair of LL Bean boots that I just absolutely love. Yep. Okay. And then we'll get into some gossip. We'll get into the Uber driver. We'll get into the guy that's talking about on Ashley about something about like him creeping around and coming back to the scene. Like, that's creepy.
Yeah. They usually do, I think. Like that guy, in New York, the Central Park killer or something like that. The preppy killer.
They do go back to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's listen to a little bit of this. And then Plunder ordered some body cam footage of the panty situation that I want to look into. I haven't seen all of that yet. And then I want to go back and look into that one video that I saved, and I kind of like enhanced it a little bit of that bottom second floor about where Dylan was going to be.
Okay.
I'm curious, guys, with all of my wonderful 20 people in here,
Yay.
Let's just say that you had to pick one person in that house, which was the target. Just one. Who do you guys think in chat was the target of this horrendous crime? I know who you think, Chisme.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the Jack D.
Yeah, and my second.
You said what, babe?
My second is the guy, the Enon.
Enon?
Mm-hmm.
Enon, he definitely fits the profile. That's what I want to go back and listen to too. Maybe we can find that timestamp. I want to go back and listen to Enon again when he talks about showing up with the bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm.
See, you guys got all that crazy weather, and I'm in Northwest Maine, and it's only 14 degrees here. You guys are getting hit in the Midwest.
JD is -11. Lana
Hey,
-3.
Marietta.
Woo-hoo.
So Marietta feels it's everybody. Joni feels it's Ethan. I am absolutely convinced that it was Kaylee as the one, or it could have been both of them, Kaylee and Maddie.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant, yeah, it's Kaylee.
Yeah, not who killed them, who you think the targeted person was. I'll tell you what, this guy is calm, cool, and collective. This guy is probably sitting back, like, let's start this and you'll hear what I'm saying. Like, he's just scaring everybody. He's sitting back and making everyone think that, you know what? No one knows who I am, and I can totally strike again. Let's go, guys. Let's listen to a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. I have not dropped. Yes, I have his link in the description of the video.
Kaylee.
Hey, yeah.
Kaylee or Maddie.
I couldn't. Dale to me explained a lot last night as far as like the impotency or the incel, or I really hope that Dale gets back to us because I got about 15 questions for him that I want to know what he thinks. All right. Now, this is the girl that's on Sidebar with Law and Crime. We watched her last night, but this is the guy on the top right that lives in Idaho. He's been to the crime scene, but he's got great insight.
Freelance writer. He looks like a writer, an actor, history author, which is interesting considering what we're about to discuss. A multi-genre editor and nonfiction author, as well as a ghostwriter. Troy has a wealth of experience and knowledge, especially about the area in and around Moscow, as he lives in Idaho himself, in Payette, which I just learned how to spell. And he also writes for Unbound Northwest, and he is the author of the wildly popular Max Boucher murder mystery series.
Adam?
And I asked Troy just off the cuff, asked him how many books he's written. I expected him to say 7 or so. He has written 30 books, which is absolutely insane. So quite a feat. Some quick housekeeping notes. You can listen to us because people have asked anywhere podcasts are found, not just on YouTube. If you want to be part of the newsletter, drop your email in the comment section. We all could use your support at Patreon. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And please hit that like button. My 8-year-old keeps reminding me to tell you guys that it helps, she said, with the algorithm. Now, of course, these cases all become whodunits, and a lot of times we forget the victim's name. So I like to start each episode this way, which is, let us never forget those young lives. Madison Mogan, 21. Kaylee Gonzalez, 21. Zana Kernodle, 20. And Ethan Chapin, 20. And now onto the very, very little bit of news that there is coming out of Moscow right now. Brian Enton, who, for full disclosure, used to work with my wife and is a correspondent with News Nation and does a phenomenal job. He had an interview with the Moscow police chief, James Fry, just a few moments ago, and asked the police chief if he thought the killer was still in Idaho or somewhere far away. Of course, people like Troy are going to be concerned because he lives in Idaho. The chief's response to that, and I quote here, "We are not disclosing any of that. Some of that we just don't know at this point." He will have a full interview. By the time you see it, it will have been on Dan Abrams.
Also, guys, remind me to try to call Enon after this video because I didn't call him last night. I forgot. Maybe he'll answer. Maybe he's spending Christmas alone and he wants to come hang out with us.
Meanwhile, NBC News also reporting last night that Police Chief James Fry told NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt that the case is not going cold and denied that the victims' families are being, quote, left in the dark. So first off to Anjanette, you are the Law and Crime host. You come from a news background. Are you surprised that the chief is keeping things very close to the vest right now, not saying whether the potential suspect or suspects could still be in the Moscow or Idaho area?
Joel, I'm not surprised one bit that he's not putting a lot of information out there. I've covered cases where they do this, where they are, so-called whodunits. And I've actually covered a case where there were multiple victims killed in their beds at night, in the middle of the night as they slept. A case in And they said nothing. I mean, they did press conferences and things. They asked the public for their assistance. They asked for tips and leads. But I think when you have a case that is a whodunit, you do have to be really careful with what you put out there. You're going to have information about the scene and about that only they would know. So you can't have too much of that out there. And you just can't have a lot of information floating around because they may not know
where
a
did
whole
the
lot. I
volume
mean, they
go?
know what they're getting in from the crime lab as far as the test results go. They know what they've been able to glean from
What?
the
I
hundreds
can
of
hear
interviews
it.
they've done
Okay.
and the video that they've been able to look at. But they claim even 40 days in that they don't have a suspect or suspects. So I think they are probably being pretty smart and not putting a lot of information out there, even though it frustrates all of us. I want to know all of it. I want to know everything they're doing and who they've talked to and what's been said and what the scene looks like. But that's just not how it should go when they're trying to piece together something like this, because they have to actually.
We have that they have a suspect or suspects in mind. Like, I can't imagine they don't have one person that they might be interested in.
Build a case. If they don't have an obvious or an immediate suspect, you're going to have to build that case. You know, it's easy to make an arrest. It's much harder to get a conviction.
And that's a great point. And that's come up with a lot of investigators who we've spoken with. It's not just about solving the case, but it's about prosecuting it in the court of law. Troy, to you, I imagine you're relieved as an Idahoan. I can't say that.
Idaho.
I knew that didn't sound correct. My apologies to the great state of Idaho. But I'm sure you're relieved by the fact that they are not in any way suggesting this case is cold. In fact, investigators I've talked to say it is red hot right now.
Right, and I feel like when we were there, we were up in Moscow last week, a couple of weeks ago now, for my stepson's graduation, college graduation from U of I. And first of all, there's a strong police presence and federal presence there that are actually investigating. So you can tell that there's work going on. There's constantly, they're doing something. Now, the fact that they're not telling us what they're doing is to a certain extent frustrating, but also to a certain extent kind of comforting. Like, I want them to catch whoever this is. I don't want them to spook at them in any way. I don't want them to give them any information that gives them the opportunity to run, disappear, so that we never really get any answers. Because I think that the mood of the community at this point is more one of watchfulness and kind of a little more security conscious than Moscow might have been in the past. But at the same time, kind of an anticipation of, we want answers. We want to know what happened. And for a lot of parents, especially, why this happened. I mean, why a group of college students? That motive is probably one of the most haunting things for parents that I talked to that were in the area at the time, was just, why would this happen to a young group of college kids?
And Troy, I want to drill down a lot more on what it's like in Idaho right now. But just let's finish off some of the news that's making headlines. So CNN actually spoke to the father of Kaylee Gonzalez, Steve Gonzalez. He's been in the news quite a bit. And he tells CNN that he, quote unquote, has to believe that his daughter's killer will be caught. Now that, more than 5 weeks, we're going past 6 weeks with no arrests made. When asked if he believes police will find the killer, he responded again, yes, I have to believe it. I couldn't sleep if I thought basically otherwise. And Jeanette, Steve has gotten some criticism for being a little too vocal in the media, but at the same time, I think people have to understand, and you've covered these cases, that this is a grieving father, lost his beautiful daughter, and God only knows, the pain he's feeling right now.
And he has got criticism, and I'm not sure that's fair, because none of us know how we would react if this happened to us. I mean, can you imagine getting that news that, your daughter goes down to Moscow?
It kind of sounds like Steve is starting to lay back a little bit and take advice from his lawyer, that the most important thing is getting a conviction when they catch this monster.
To show off her Range Rover to her friends. She's getting ready to graduate, getting ready to move on and move to Austin, Texas for this job. And, it was a last minute decision apparently for her to go down there. And then you get a call that she and her best friend, who's almost like a daughter to you as well, have been stabbed to death. The other two victims, Ethan Chapin and Zach Cornell, that they've been murdered as well. And you want answers yesterday. I mean, you want to know who did it, why. I mean, at the same time, I don't think anybody ever sat them down and said, look, we want to tell you what we know, but we just can't. And this is how this works. And I think that probably was a mistake if that didn't happen. I don't know for a fact that didn't happen. But none of us know how he would react. And I think that he is grieving and he just is beside himself and distraught and inundated with people like me trying to get him to talk to him. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that he probably needed somebody to sit him down and try to calm him down a little bit. But I feel for that family and all of the families because they've suffered a horrific loss and it's been out in the public. And, they're right to demand answers and they're right to demand information. But I think that somebody needs to sit them down and say, look, this is how these investigations work. And it stinks, but this is how it goes.
From one journalist to another, I can tell you, it's nice to have you on. We've had a lot of investigators on. The media, it is a tricky job. Talks about media ethics and the challenges of speaking to parents at a time like this, but it is the media's responsibility to try to get information, and a lot of times there are loggerheads with police department and families, and it's a tenuous situation to say the least. So kudos to doing hard work as well. Troy, you're in a place called Payette. How far is it from Moscow? And tell me, what is the mood like in Payette? Forget Moscow for a minute, but Payette itself.
Guys, let's get into the story.
We haven't even been here that long. We know the majority of our neighbors, and all of us have dogs. And it'd be a very difficult thing to target this area. Is what I would basically say. So that's kind of the atmosphere that's here.
Kids are out partying or what have you, and it's just a party area. And he said, it's loud a lot around there, and there's a lot of foot traffic all the time. So it is densely populated. It is pretty surprising, and that's why I think. I mean, this is my feeling: is that whoever got in that house had to have been familiar with the house to go in there the way they did and do what they did.
From watching, I feel like that person would have
to know the layout. Just my personal opinion.
And when you were there, Jeanette, how would you rate the fear factor in Moscow? Obviously, I guess the initial shock.
This was interesting what she said.
Is there a heightened sense of fear or alarm?
I was out on campus
Nobody
and I was trying to talk to students. A lot of them wouldn't talk to me, especially the women, the female students. But a lot, at that point in time, probably half the students had already gone home and they were going to finish their exams online. So, but some of them weren't. They felt like, the Idaho State Police had state troopers patrolling around. The university was taking measures to keep them safe. It was dark out. It gets dark there at like 4:30, 4:45, something like that. And we were out there at like 5:36 at night. And kids were still walking around. Students were walking around campus, some alone, and some were females walking alone. So I think the initial shock had worn off. My sense is that people, they want to know who did it and they want to be able to move on, because there's a lot of frustration too. I had one business owner specifically say to me when I asked him about this, he was really upset with the press, the media. He felt like the national media was kind of invading their small community and making it look bad. And he said to me, I'm not sure this community has the patience for what it's going to take to solve this. And that to me was like a stunning statement. I thought to myself, wow. I mean, if that's the sentiment there, yeah. So I think there are some people who are kind of on edge, but at the same time, it seemed like in a lot of ways life was going on.
I totally get the frustration.
Oh, hell
I'm
no.
a big
Life
advocate,
is going on.
As is Dan Abrams, who owns Law and Crime of law enforcement, and I tend to think that they're gonna have the resolve. They're gonna figure this out. It might take some more time, but I believe that to be the case. A little bit more news, something we discussed, but just to kind of reiterate, Troy, now that I have you on this panel, classes are going to resume at the University of Idaho on January 11th. Now, what's interesting is they say that they're adding more security on campus. They're distributing Birdie personal safety alarms. They're offering self-defense workshops and stalking awareness education, among other safety measures. Do you think that helps, Troy?
I think it helps for people to find. Quite honestly, I mean, there were a lot of the female students. So fortunately, like our stepson was graduating and he's not going back. He's not returning to class. He graduated, he's done. And a lot of the graduates think that they didn't have to go back. So I think for those students that do return to campus, you're going to have to offer them something that gives them the feeling of more control. Now, whether any of those things would have helped this particular situation is a really good question, but to raise awareness, because part of it is in that area. So my stepson lived in that area, lived in the apartment complex that's sort of right next to the house. And a lot of times they didn't even lock their door. Him and his roommate didn't even lock their door because, well, somebody might want to come in that they knew and they might not hear them. They're both gamers. They're in their headphones, stuff like that. They might not hear them. And somebody might want to come in. So they left the door unlocked. My wife, who's from Chicago, she's like, after we went up there for the graduation, she's like, lock that door as soon as we leave, right behind us. Don't. She's the security conscious one, but many of those students were leaving their doors unlocked for that reason. People wandered in and out of each other's apartments and houses in that area. And I think that has definitely changed. And I think that attitude of let's do some things to be proactive, those personal alarms, the stalking for sure, I think is something that's like I think a lot of people believe this was a stalker, someone who targeted one of the girls, more than likely. And so that good anyway. And so it's a reminder thing to have. Especially self-defense, it's super important to be able to know what to do in a situation, if nothing else, than to escape. So I think it'll help people's peace of mind, but I also think it's really helpful in that if there is someone still out there, that they know that there's a raised awareness and a raised level of security on campus, and that students are paying attention to that, and so is the administration.
I hear you,
And that's why my 2 girls and my little boy are all taking jujitsu, so they can defend themselves.
I mean, you're kidding.
Yeah.
I can actually
It's the number one
still leave my
anti-rape
doors
defense
open
system,
where
by
I
the
live.
way.
I
So,
leave my car running at the store.
I encourage the martial arts. I'm curious, Troy, was that at this recent winter graduation where your stepson graduated? And if so,
Yes.
what was the mood like at graduation? What was your stepson's attitude, Troy?
Come on, guys.
Well, it was interesting because some of them aren't listening to the media because they don't want to hear about it until somebody gets
One
caught.
sec, guys. Let's get past his son going to school.
One of those tips. So they feel that they've got good enough information coming in that they don't need to offer a reward at this point. This is what I was told. It sounds like the practice or the theory or whatever you want.
Okay, let's talk about the reward. Do you guys honestly feel that putting out a reward up at a college town is really going to stop people from going to the college? Like, is it really going to not let them understand that 4 people were murdered at 1122 King Street? They know. It's not like a secret. It's not like, oh, don't put out oh, no, we can't put out a reward because if we do, they're going to know that 4 kids were killed here.
Yeah.
That's kind of what makes me think that they have a suspect in mind. They have to.
I think so.
How do they not? I mean, is he that smart? Calculated?
No. I think they have someone in mind, or they're just watching someone.
I mean, don't you guys honestly think too, if it was Decor, Showwater, the David Loach, the David B, Schreiger, Adam, Kodovic, the one that left. How do I remember these names? Don't you think one of them would have already have been like the rumor that they'd been questioned more than once, or just something?
Well, the only rumors out there are the ones we've noticed, and other YouTubers.
I feel like this guy is not in this college town. I think that he's there, but I think that this guy is like early 30s. I don't know why. I keep thinking 33. Let's see if I'm right when this monster bastard gets caught.
Yeah, and then that lady, she said that when she interviewed a guy and how he felt about the media, he said that the media is drawing more attention, but it's not the media. It's whoever did the deed. They're the ones that brought the attention to them, and we're trying to help. So,
and remember too what they said on what we watched last night. They said that sometimes they leave things out so that the person that did it will get mad and reach out to the news media. You remember that last night?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If they leave it alone, they're like, hey, what's up? How come no one's talking about it? And then they go in there and stir the pot.
Exactly. Or make a phone call or send a letter in like BTK did after all those years. And he was so mad that the media wasn't talking anymore. And there he comes in writing a letter and boom, busted. Hello, Elisa Quesada. Merry Christmas. Okay, let's continue. Then we can get into the good stuff.
I call it is that
Yes,
you might put a
Carol,
reward out
plus
there
they're
and generate a lot of leads and tips that maybe aren't that worthwhile. So they just don't feel it's necessary at this point in time.
And what was your sense in dealing with the Moscow Police Department? And I don't know if you talked to other public information officers, PIOs, as we call them. What was your sense of the department's confidence, like their demeanor? Do they seem like they were on top of things? You know, we've got this, or do they seem to you, compared to other cases that you've covered, inexperienced?
Well, the PIO I've been dealing with is from the Idaho State Police, and he's a former police officer. So he seemed to, at least, you know, he had his talking points down, obviously. I think this would be overwhelming for any police department, a quadruple homicide, a true whodunit. So, I mean, I think the fact that they called in, I'm sure they are overwhelmed to a point. They're not going to come out and say that, but I think you would have to feel overwhelmed dealing with that. And with 15,000 tips coming in and 1,000 videos and 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras and all of that. So, but they seem to, you know, it seems like they did the right things in some respects. They called in the FBI for assistance. They probably knew they were in over their heads, that they needed the help. They have the Idaho State Police there assisting as well. So, you know, they keep saying they're going to follow this through. They're going to see it through to the end. So, I mean, in some ways, I think they seem confident, but I don't know how you could feel not a lot of pressure in this situation, because the public is basically standing there, or at least the media, the public, the parents are demanding all of these answers, and they want them quickly. And sometimes it just doesn't happen that way.
We recently had a retired NYPD detective named Dr. Al on. He covered, I think, 500 homicides in New York City. In that time, he had a triple homicide, never a quadruple homicide. And he says, look, it would be daunting for the NYPD. So let alone a town of 25 or 26,000 people. And I just want to be clear that we are in no way bashing the Moscow PD, because I think they are doing yeoman's work and are probably on top of it a lot more than you even know.
Right.
With that said, Troy, to you, Antoinette earlier said she feels like the person knew the home, hadn't know the home. Have you given any thought to potential motive or profile? I know you're not a professional profiler, but you're have you thought to who this possibly could be?
The only thing I can say is kind of the same thing. I believe they had to have been in the house and know the layout of the house to do this crime essentially in the way that they did. It feels very personal because of the level of violence that happened. So I believe it was someone, and I'm like a lot of other people. I believe the word targeted is used like way overused and way too specifically, because it makes it feel like this is someone who's just like this mastermind who targeted this. But it had to be someone who was at least somewhat familiar with basically how to get out of a crime scene without making a mess and just getting caught almost immediately. The average amateur who committed a crime like this would have blood all over, and they would, you know, it would be obvious to someone. They would tell someone. So someone who's organized, someone who knew what they're doing, and who at a minimum targeted that house, probably targeted one of the people for some reason.
I mean, guys, come on. We are getting to the point where everyone is saying the exact same thing as far as this guy knew what he was doing. Because if he did it, exactly what people are saying, like, I mean, it's like he's like a ninja. I can't wait till they catch him.
Someone you also could have known the layout by looking those 100 times, looking at that address.
Or looking in the windows.
Remember that graph?
Yeah. I mean, they could have seen what was going on just from watching the people that lived in the house in those back windows. It's not like it's a closed-in house. It's pretty open, basic floor plan. Scary.
It was just waiting to happen.
But it's difficult to talk about with college kids. You're like, what enemies do they actually have? Well, a jealous boyfriend, you know, something like that. Who knows what the possible motive would be? But it would be something personal. And that's it. It almost had to be with college students. Obviously, well, the motive wasn't robbery. The motive wasn't something else. So it feels like a very personal, and someone who was aiming specifically for that house at a minimum, and had been there, knew the layout of the house. But anyone could have been there when they were having a party, even deliberately to scout the layout of the house. So it's very difficult to say with any certainty. Again, there would just be evidence. There would be, you know, hundreds of fingerprints and all kinds of stuff to go through because it was a party house. You know, so it'd be difficult to narrow that down. But on the motive side of things, it just feels like it would be a passionate type crime, but it had to be a very organized one.
And Antoinette, to you, was there anything in your reporting or being out there that kind of led you to this conclusion that you think it's someone who knew the home, who we just said we weren't going to use the word targeted, but targeted either one or more of these students?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because the police say, they believe it was targeted, but they don't know if it was the house or the people inside. And I find that to be somewhat astounding because I don't know why you would target the house per se. And I feel like to get in and out of there without, to commit such a violent crime. I mean, and when I say that, I mean, it's so personal. You have to get up close to somebody to stab someone. And they said some of these victims had defensive wounds. That could mean they did this or whatever. We just don't know. I feel like, how do you get in there? You murder 4 people by stepping. There's not enough noise to rouse people who are downstairs, the 2 downstairs roommates in the lower level of the house. I just feel like, I mean, can you imagine going into a dark house in the middle of the night and carrying out something like this?
No.
I would think, with all the stairs too, if you've looked at any of the TikTok videos or the layouts of the house, I mean, it's like there's a set of stairs here and there's so many different little sets of steps. I feel like you'd have to know your way around. That is my opinion. It means nothing. It's just from my viewing of the area, scene, knowing how densely populated it is. And I
feel if the creeper was watching in the back in those blue lines or with binoculars or whatever Dale was talking about, that night scope thing, it's not really too hard to understand that if I go in the slider where the kitchen is, or I climb the balcony and go on the slider up there, it's not too hard to figure out if you're targeting the Maddie where Kaylee and Maddie were, how to get in there and how to get out. It's pretty basic open floor plan from the back of the house. There's not all these stairs. You walk in the house, you go to the left, you go up the flight of stairs. And then from that area up, it's 1 step. And then you turn the corner and it's straight up to the girl's room on top. Do you think that floor plan would be hard for somebody to even figure it out? And I'm sure the guy's been in the house. Like, what about when Enon tried to come over and go to the bonfire in the backyard and bring the bottle of wine? And he's talking about, yeah, Kaylee wanted to drink it. And that laugh. Oh, I can't.
Oh, gross. I wouldn't have.
I mean, yeah.
You could have put something in there and then an open bottle. What if he diluted it or whatever? Put some drugs or some whatever they have nowadays, Spanish fly.
But for somebody to go in there and kill 4 people, and we're going on almost 6 weeks, and it's just, I just keep thinking about Danny Rowland and Gainesville.
Yeah, the pit bulls, they're real good protectors. Bullies. We have bully contests here. And those pit bulls, they're just pure muscles. Yeah.
Comfortable with blood, familiar with death and killing, very detailed, stalked in stealth mode, skilled with weapons and deliberate, military-minded suspect. Mikey, I talked about that last night. I said last night, I have been checking all of the bases around closest to that area, and I'm trying to find out who went AWOL or who was kicked out of the military. I was saying it last night that I believe that you have what are you doing to your mic over there? No, it sounds good, but what are you doing? Turning it off and on?
No, it's loose. Let me fix it.
And I was saying that, in that area, people are like, oh, he's a hunter. Well, I'm thinking if you grew up in that area, because we know that Showwater killed his first elk in 2015 or 17 with that fixed blade. But I think it's someone who was probably hunting as a kid, joined the military, and for some reason I feel like he was taken out of the military because of maybe just because he was an oddball. Something about him he doesn't fit in. But that's my personal opinion.
Entry points. You've got that front entry door, and then you've got the sliding glass door in the back. That's just my feeling about it. And you'd have to know maybe that it was going to be unlocked. And everybody around there, from what I have heard from the neighbors, kept their doors unlocked.
Mm-hmm. And so, Troy, you are coincidentally, and I guess ironically, a murder mystery author. And you've done a lot of research on the psychology of killers as a result of your profession as a writer. Is there anything that's jumped out at you from your studies, either related to this or something that's of interest to you?
Well, it's just what really interests me about cases like this and kind of dealing with any true crime situation is for fiction to work, right? We have to have a crime that makes a certain amount of sense, because otherwise a reader won't believe that would happen. But like in this case, in a reality case, it doesn't necessarily have to make sense. Anything could have triggered someone to personally and brutally attack someone, given the proper mental state. But they had to have somebody that's mentally unstable and that had some kind of a planning. Now, whether they had experience killing in one way or another, that's the part that puzzles me to a certain extent. But this is like, when we look at reality, like real crimes, almost anything could have triggered somebody and set them off. Normally, we need a strong motive in fiction. In real life, you don't really need that. But I still puzzle over the motive. That is the biggest thing that puzzles me about this whole case. But again, I'm the same way. I feel like they needed to know the house and be very organized with a very strong plan. Otherwise, how are you going to murder 4 people again, exactly like you said, with a knife, and get in and out without making noise, without leaving a trace, without leaving clues of your own DNA and your own blood behind, especially in the case of defensive ones? Like, it's very often that, there's all kinds of different things that generally happen. Because
I
you slip
agree.
down the knife blade, cut yourself a little bit, something like that. So it feels to me like this is someone with some kind of a mental, it had to be someone that was kind of disconnected from reality. It would seem to me, and that would be a logical, psychological aspect of the killer. And
is it your sense that Idahoans, got it right that time, is it your sense that they feel like it's an isolated incident at this point and that the concern is not overwhelming?
Yeah, I would say that the majority of people that I talked to, the parents and stuff like that, felt like this is an isolated incident, in that, because it feels like this was targeted, and because the police even said it's either the house or the kids that were targeted. And I'm like you, I can't believe that they would target the house. Like, why would you just target that? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But if it's targeted,
I honestly believe that this person was watching the house. I think this person had a little thing for Kaylee. I thought it was Maddie. I think the only reason why I started thinking it was Maddie was because the Mean Girls things were coming out. And I didn't know. But I think that Kaylee left. And I think that when she came back into town that day, and the saddest part is about that whole thing is she didn't have that planned. That was a last minute thing that she decided to drive down and show Maddie her car, show her friends the car, and have one last couple nights with them before she moved to Texas. And look at what happened. And I think that the guy was out, probably saw that she was in town. Could be the guy that drives the white Elantra, but I can't imagine, like he said, I can't imagine some guy pulling up at a crime scene to kill, whether it was just planning on killing Kaylee and Maddie, and Ethan woke up, and that's when he was in the common area, and then Xana heard that and woke up. The other 2 at the bottom, I can't even understand how they did not hear anything. But why would you leave your car running with the lights on? I mean, does that make any sense? Yeah, the white car that they're saying that they saw in the police cam footage, and that the bathroom light went out at 3:15, and then the car was there. Would you really go up and leave your car running and then go run into a house and kill people and then get back in your car and leave?
No, not really. I wouldn't, because it's obvious. Someone's going to see you. But what if they just did it as spur of the moment thing,
Well, no, it's not.
Just got out of the car and they're like, I'm pissed.
This is not a spur of a moment thing. This was planned and calculated. This guy was like a ninja. He got in, he killed 4 people, he got out, no trace and no track, and they still have not found or put a suspect out there yet. So I can't imagine somebody that calculated, hey, Dragonette, would leave the car running with the freaking lights on. I agree, Carol. I said that last night in the live. If you go back and listen, I'm definitely going into the hunting and at some point he was in the military. I think he was under the age of about early 30s. And I'm telling you, I do not feel that Enon did it, but if he got arrested, it absolutely would not surprise me.
He's probably
He
done
fits-
other things, like maybe the panty situation.
Yeah, we're gonna look into the pan. Can you actually get me a timestamp on that, Chisme, with where the panty part starts?
Well, that's at the very end. She says that
Yeah,
at the very end.
Can you just maybe
Yeah.
grab a timestamp and put it in private chat? Okay, let's finish this up,
Okay.
guys. I'm gonna stop it when they get into the people's the questions.
At one of those specific, one of the specific victims, then I don't feel like this is someone who'd be out roaming around necessarily looking for another victim. And also, it's a quiet time at the college. I mean, it's the Christmas break now. As students start coming back to college, I think we might see.
I mean, Dragonette, I get that, but when we look at the view and when you watch the tree line and how Brian Enton can drive up in that tree line to the different neighborhood, why would they go on the side of the house where the other apartment complexes are? Why wouldn't they park the getaway car like back in the bushes, like maybe with the lights off? It just, I can't imagine being that stupid to the scene and not being caught. I mean, it could have been him. I'm not saying it's not, but I mean, that part was definitely not planned then if you're going to drive to the crime scene and leave your lights on.
Concern ramp up if we haven't seen any suspects in any major developments, because parents, I mean, I would be concerned if our stepson was going back up there. I'd be like, okay, there's some behaviors I'd really like you to change. Like, please lock your door, you know,
Right.
Some simple things like that you would think would be logical, but in a small town with no crime, the kids didn't even think about, right? So I think that those concerns will come up and will raise again if there's still no developments and kids are trickling back to school. I think that's going to change the attitude a bit.
And we're going to get to viewer questions and comments in a second. But Anjanette, I'm just wondering again, from your being on the ground, boots on the ground, as they say, did you get a sense that, because right now, I know after Thanksgiving, something like 70% of the student population did not show back up. They don't have hard figures. Did you get this?
Guys, remember, there are 15 live cams in the city of Moscow. We've seen them. I've showed them. I can drop the link. Carol said she would steal a car. If I was going to do a crime like this, and I wouldn't, but I would use a stolen vehicle. I wouldn't use a stolen vehicle. I would use my feet in the bushes and park like probably 2 miles away, because the adrenaline rush that I would probably have after taking out 4 kids, I could probably run like Forrest Gump. Okay, why don't I see Mark? Do you see Mark Chisme?
I wasn't really paying attention. I'm looking for that timestamp.
Okay, I don't see Mark. Huh. I guess he's got me blocked. Okay, let's continue.
Sense that students are going to continue to remain at home and not come back after the winter break, pending the solving of this case?
I didn't get that sense
Just check the
because
comment
everybody
I
that we
posted that
encountered was
like here.
there. I didn't get the sense that they weren't going to come back, and there were so many students walking around. There were even, I was eating at a restaurant in downtown Moscow and just grabbing a quick lunch, and students there hanging out, doing what kids do, sitting there eating lunch, some of them working at the restaurant. So I didn't get that sense, at least for the ones that were there, that they wouldn't come back. But who knows? I mean, there may be parents who are saying to their kids, you are not going back there until they know who did this. Because, if you're not somebody who covers this kind of stuff, I mean, a lot of people think, oh, it's a serial killer. It could be a serial killer. Well, it could be. I think that's unlikely. But, it could be. But, I didn't get the sense that there was going to be a mass exodus. I think we just have to wait and see how that pans out. I'm sure the university wants this solved because, I mean, think about that. You're trying to attract people to your school and this happens.
And Anjanette, as a reporter, you're not supposed to inject yourself into the story, but you're a young woman. You're on this campus. It's getting dark after 4:30.
Thanks for calling me young. I appreciate that. You're a smart man.
I think you're definitely younger than Troy and me, so I think we're safe to say that.
I'll take it.
How How did you feel in Moscow during that time? Because I'll tell you right now, I would feel a little nervous.
Yeah, I have a pretty thick skin, and I've been in some pretty, covering things in inner city neighborhoods.
Guys, I think this is actually over on them talking about the suspect.
I don't know that. They won't tell us who they've spoken to at all. They say they've done hundreds of interviews. You would think that they had spoken to some of these people. I mean, I can't imagine they went and interviewed every employee at the school, but I just can't. I wish I could answer that question. They won't tell us anything. I tried for like 25 minutes interviewing this PIO a couple weeks ago, and I interviewed him yesterday too. So, they're very careful about what they say. And I think if they say certain things, they do it with a purpose. Like this whole thing about them being confident that the people in that Hyundai Elantra have information. So things like that. So I wish I could answer that question, but I just don't have a better answer for you.
And I think I'm so glad you're here. It's a cat and mouse game always between the media and it's a delicate balance, and it's a hard job on both ends. And people tend to bash both, so please don't do it. Next comment, Troy, this is for you. This comes from Sun Does Shine. Look at that, optimism in the world. They write, and I'll tell you why I picked this comment. I saw a commenter write simply, "This wasn't a sloppy young college kid. It was committed by a class act." I felt like that was a really weird thing to say, and it was the killer not being able to keep quiet. The reason I bring it up, we had a very famous woman, Ann Burgess, on for the podcast. She's worked with the original FBI Mindhunter, and another gentleman, Gary Bricado. And I found out someone stole my video and put it on their own YouTube channel, but that's a story for another time. But the reason I bring it up is Gary Bricado and Ann said, this killer is probably reading comments and probably writing comments. So Troy, to you, what do you make of that this person used the term class act, if you make anything at all, especially since you're a guy that studies the psychology of killers?
Well, first of all, I saw that show and that you did, and I totally agree with Ann and them, and that he is probably inserting himself in some form, probably making comments and things like that. Now, if it's the person that said this is a class act, I would really want to know what they mean by that. It's either somebody who's definitely sympathizing with the wrong side of this particular story, is what I would say. Because as much as we believe this killer was someone that was organized and that was sharp, this was probably not a sloppy student. That comment is probably absolutely right, and it was not a sloppy student. But to use the words class act raises some serious questions in my mind. Now, of course, I mean, this world of social media, anybody can create an account and hop on and comment on stuff. So it's hard to say, but I would say if the killer is not watching these type of media things and commenting on them, I would be surprised if they're not watching that, because of that, the mentality of wanting to see the fruits of their labor. And that's a common thing. Criminals is often returned to the scene of the crime, different things like that. They want to see the fruits of their labor. I did this, and I want to see what the fallout and the outcome is.
And I will go out on a limb and say, under no circumstances is the term class act okay to use for a killer.
No,
probably not. Never. Phrase to turn. No. So the next comment, and Anjanette, I'm curious to get your take on this, comes from Junior Banks. Great conversation and insights. I'm puzzled.
Okay, I don't like to get rude and get into that man's Jess, you guys know Lana, Elisa. Jess, I trust you girls. You do what you got to do to keep the peace in the house. We'll get into the body cam footage, Jess, and after we touch on a few Banfield videos. I want to watch this one first. I actually missed this one. Are we going to be nice, News Nation? Because I know I've got lots of internet.
Is that the one where the Uber driver comes forward?
We're going to watch that one next. This one is the expert incel theory in the Idaho minutes. Oh, shoot. You know, the reason why I read things backward, guys, because dyslexic. Hey, K Music.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll notice, like in my titles and stuff, I'll put like words that should have been reversed, like it's, and numbers. if I get a Google alert on my phone and I have to go back and put the Google number into something else, guys, sometimes I have to go back 4 times to figure out what the number was.
Yeah. Are you sure it's not that weed?
What happened, Elise? Are you timing people out?
It was an accident.
You better put Elise in the corner. You know what? I got to call Santa Claus. Hang on. Let me try to call Austin if he answers the phone.
Who?
Enon Harsh.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if he answers. And then if he doesn't, we'll get in. I'll leave him a message maybe. We'll wait for is Carol back in?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
The last time I called, this mailbox was full.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voice mailbox that has not been set up
Okay,
yet.
not set up. My sorry.
Goodbye.
All right, kitty, get out of the way. You can't be right there, little boy.
Lisa said she has 2 lumps of coal.
Ugh.
She's going to be able to make a barbecue.
All right, let's watch Ashley.
The question that has yet to be solved: who killed those 4 students in Moscow, Idaho? Behavioral analysts from the FBI are, as we speak, trying to profile the murderer. And while their work is a secret, the theories aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that the killer was acting out of some kind of hatred of women? Before the break, we talked about the subculture known as incels. And there are 2 people who know that topic best. Chris Mohandi is a forensic psychologist with more than 25 years of experience in assessing and managing violent behavior. And you may well know him from his popular investigation discovery show, Most Evil. And Sarah Daly is a criminologist who has dedicated much of her life's work to studying incels and mass violence. And welcome to both of you. I couldn't have 2 better on this topic. Dr. Daly, can I begin with you? Women have rejected men since the dawn of time. What all of a sudden has changed? Why is there now all of a sudden this strange subculture that is bonded together?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Ashley. You know, some but not all incels believe that increases in women's rights and opportunities allow them to be pickier when women select partners, or that modern online dating is mostly based on looks. My research, though, focuses on incels' experiences, and they face these masculinity challenges, which in turn affect the way that they're treated, which is often like subhumans in their minds. You know, it affects their self-esteem and their self-worth. So these online communities can provide a sense of support for them. They find shared identity and victimization. So in my research, I've found that online interactions are the social experience for them, and they say that much of the heinous content is a bonding mechanism.
So I've heard this expression, Dr. Daly, called the black pill. What's the black pill?
What's a black pill?
Yeah, sure. So it's based on the reference to the Matrix, the blue pill and the red pill. But the black pill is this notion that looks and one's appearance are the defining characteristics for your success in life, whether it's professional.
Have you guys ever heard of these black pill? I mean, I've heard of red pills and blue pills when I read The Valley of the Dolls back in the day. But what is have you heard of this? Black pill, blue pill? Oh, Chisme, we're getting old. Have you heard of these black pills, blue pills, and red pills?
No, but she's talking about a personality. I think she's gonna.
I get that.
Talk about the way they dress. But no, I've never heard of that.
So they're categorizing incels into 3 pills: a black, a red, and a black. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah,
that's interesting. Hey, Jennifer again. Yeah, that's interesting. So you got a black incel, a red incel, and a blue incel.
No, she
have
said
any of you inside chat read the book?
I mean,
about Go ahead, babe.
The black shit. She said the black pill is the incel.
Yeah, we'll go back in a second. Okay, so what? So, ooh, interesting. Oh, look at that, guys. We learn something every day. All right, here we go.
Romantic. So for men who are very short or who are physically unattractive, there's nothing they can do to fix it short of plastic surgeries. So it's really kind of a very bleak outlook for what their future happiness looks like.
Better get your
They
ass some
should
skills.
maybe go and check out Beauty and the Beast, on Broadway. It's a theme that has run through most people's lives as they've grown up. It's not about what you look, it's about what you're like. So, Dr. Mohandy, you were one of the earliest, actually, to speak out and say that we shouldn't be ruling out the incel theory in the Idaho murders. Tell me why you think that.
Well, you have a number of things that are reminiscent, if you will, of Isla Vista and other events. You have several people, the victims, 3 attractive females, the involved male, all of whom are attractive, socially visible, very, up and coming, at the prime of their lives, participating in, what college students participate in terms of living their lives to their fullest. So that's going to evoke feelings of envy and hate among those that perceive that they're on the outs.
Look at how young they were there.
And in that environment, that could very much be, somebody like this.
Oh my God.
It also is reminiscent of Isla Vista in that event started with a multiple stabbing at the offender's apartment. A deeply personal, hateful act, and so forth. So the context.
Did you see how young they were?
Braces.
Oh my gosh. I'm talking like they've been friends since middle school.
Yeah, I can imagine them giggling. I mean, I guess they were always that way, but as little, prepubescent, preteen.
Right?
Yeah, they did a good job on her teeth.
Yeah, when I started middle school, I had 3 girls at the bus stop that morning, Tammy, Judy, and Heather, and we are still best friends to this day and talk all the time.
Oh.
And I remember, too, when I got to the bus stop, and the first thing that my best friend Tammy ever said to me, she says, "You can't wear those skirts. They're too short." But of course, you got to put your arms down, and they were like 2 inches above my knee, and I'm in 6th grade. It's like, you know what? Don't tell me how to dress. And we've been best friends ever since.
Yeah. Well, you know that she'll tell you the truth if she's a best friend about your clothing.
A couple friends. Like, I've got 3 friends like this from middle school. Actually 4, but one at high school moved away, but we still talk, but she just wasn't there through the high school years. But look at how young, look at how beautiful they are. I just can't, you know what? I hope they catch. Yeah, that these 2 wouldn't give him a second look with a bottle of wine.
Mar, is your mute button working?
And the violent.
What?
Is your mute button working? Because I can hear you,
Yeah, I'm gonna mute it when I start the video.
No, not right now. Earlier, I heard you like moving stuff. I don't know if you knew.
No, that was you.
No, because I was on mute.
Oh. Yeah,
but,
if I leave
the TV, it was because I was looking up that video.
Yeah, sometimes if I do not mute the mic on my actual headset, not the StreamYards, you'll get a little feedback, but I mute it when I hit play. I mean, sometimes I forget and then I do it, but here we go.
Okay.
Characterize this event made me think that's a possibility. It's not the only possibility, and I'm sure investigators are looking into it, but that was what I associated to it. And, part of a successful investigation, is keeping an open mind to a number of possibilities. And I'm sure they're looking at this and other theories, but that's kind of what I flashed to, when I saw some of the fact pattern of this case.
when you mentioned the Isla Vista, that's the UC Santa Barbara case where the killer said, "I'm after the hottest sorority of UCSB." It's chilling to actually just see it in plain writing. So, Dr. Daly, what does the FBI do about this? Like, how do they track the incel community? Do they troll them online? Is there more surveillance that goes on? And particularly with a case like this, how would that research all of a sudden get very focused and change?
Yeah, the FBI and other agencies are absolutely aware of incels, you know, and they've probably experienced a lot of training to understand their online activity. So I would suspect that they're looking for leads and identifying suspects. They know the channels, they know the forums and the sites that they want to look for, and, you know, follow this information. If this is something they're considering, which I'm sure that they are, they have the skills and the resources to monitor these sites and hopefully be able to parse out the really extreme trolling that happens on there, and any potential legitimate leads.
What happened?
I don't think I have to remind you, it has been 40 days since those kids were killed at that home on King Road. And tonight we're dissecting.
All right, let's find the Uber driver.
In this case, what we know and how police may actually.
I sent the link in case you can't find it. It's the first one.
Be moving forward. Just ahead, some of the top homicide detectives in the business of solving murders are going to join us.
Ooh, massive winter storm. Oh, Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, that is sad. I didn't know it was a true story as far as the outcome and all that.
Right. Okay, here we go.
Because clearly I would have imagined the police have a lot more,
There's two
machinery
Uber
and
videos.
technological ability than sometimes we do to track people down. I assume that the police found him and that they would have talked. What did he say about being able to tell everything he told you to the police?
Right. Yeah, this was super interesting to me because he said that he didn't hear about the murders until the next day. And he realized, oh my gosh, these are the two girls that I had driven home and I've driven home in the past. And so he was stewing on that for a little bit, but he was the one who eventually turned himself over to the police by calling the tip line saying, hey, I was the one who drove these girls home. The police tells the rideshare driver that they already knew he was the driver, but even still, he was the one who called in himself and said, hey, I was that guy. That being said, when he did that, called the tip line, he turned over all of his GPS coordinates from that night, sharing that he went to Taco Bell after dropping the girls off and then went home. And so that's the reason why he was cleared almost immediately. He'd never been named as a suspect or persons of interest because all the data that he provided to the police proves that he was not there at this house at the time that these murders allegedly happened.
So the other question is, as you are standing almost, I imagine, in the same spot where they were dropped off, did he mention anything about the drop-off that was unusual? Anybody in the parking lot? Did he drive into the parking lot? Did he hear something, see something, pass anybody?
Ashley, the only thing he said was that he heard the frats doing their normal partying, but everything else seemed quiet, seemed normal. There were no headlights. There was no one following him. He says he's got a great memory.
You know, people are going around saying that Kaylee had a breast augmentation, but you know what? After seeing pictures of her around middle school and stuff, I'm going to have to disagree with that. But does that have anything to do with the fact that she was murdered? Absolutely not. But think about it now, and some of the things that people come out and say are just absolutely foul.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she seems like she's all boobs, breast. Okay.
and he would know whether or not anyone was trailing him or if there was anything suspicious at all. As far as the drop-off, he said that he brought them right up the street here on King Road and dropped them off here at the foot of the driveway. He never pulls actually into the driveway because he says, based on his training, he always wants to be able to have a quick getaway in the event that something bad happens to him, like he gets robbed on the side of the road. But he dropped them off here on King Road. He watched them get out of the car. He did not watch them physically go into the home, but he said that he trusted that they were going to be safe because he's driven them so many other times, and he knew that these two girls were together.
Okay,
Hello?
this is the last one with the Banfield. Hello. And then we'll get into the plunder stuff.
I guess he didn't
And
say,
go-
I guess it wasn't him who said that it was like a drug. He would take a lot of people there to get drugs.
That's the taxi cab driver.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you heard the Uber driver say that?
I just heard they said the driver, but they didn't say Uber or taxi. They just said a driver that would go over there. He would take people there to pick up drugs.
Yeah, striking that. She definitely had a full figure probably at the age of 12.
Yeah, but she was proud of it though. That's good.
Yep. 40 days later, no answers, no peace in Idaho.
What we know and how police may actually be moving forward. Just ahead, some of the top homicide detectives in the business of solving murders are going to join us. Plus, with just one full day left until Christmas, we are going to be honoring those lives lost on King Road. But first, one method that detectives use to solve a crime is to look back over all of their notes for something that may see differently now. They might just notice it a little differently now with the passage of time. And so we have done the same thing, and we've compiled this case for you from start to finish.
The facts of the case that we know right now. We know that these homicides occurred in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th. Around noon, Moscow officers received a call of an unconscious person. Officers discovered the bodies of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Goncalves inside the residence on King Road.
Just weeks ago, the 5 roommates were getting into the festive spirit, impersonating one another and posting the videos to TikTok.
Oh, Murphy, you didn't get out of here. You seriously gotta get out.
But 3 of the 5 were killed: Madison Mogan, Kaylee Goncalves, and Xana Kernodle. Kernodle's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, spent the night and was also murdered. Investigators say they were all likely stabbed in their sleep. 2 roommates apparently slept through the whole ordeal, according to officials. Upon waking up the next morning, they first called their friends over to the house for help, believing one of the victims had just passed out. Then they called 911.
At this crime scene, we collected 103 pieces of individual evidence. We took approximately 4,000 photographs. We've conducted multiple 3D scans of the residence, and we have hundreds of hours used by technicians and investigators, including our forensics team and detectives from multiple agencies.
Police saying today that the investigation into the murders of 4 University of Idaho students is progressing. Law enforcement conducting 150 interviews and processing more than 1,000 tips. Among them, that 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves had a stalker.
When I spoke to the prosecutor, he was very clear with me that they still have no suspects in this case.
Are there persons of interest and people that the investigators are looking at? I think it's fair to say that there have been people of interest to the investigators, and everyone that they've identified so far, they've been able to exonerate. Perhaps exonerate isn't the best word, but they've been able to eliminate them as being an actual suspect.
An emotional vigil remembering the University of Idaho murder victims. With the killer still on the loose, security was tight with metal detectors and police closely watching from the ground and from balconies inside the arena.
I would like to start by saying my name is Stacy Chapin. I'm Ethan's mom. The circumstances that bring us here tonight, they're terrible. The hardest part, we cannot change the outcome.
This morning, there's new information that could help solve the murders of 4 college students in Moscow, Idaho. Police are looking for a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra just like this, but we don't know the license plate number. Investigators believe the driver was near the crime scene on November 13th, and they think the driver could have critical information about the case.
The tips and leads have just shown us that that car was there in that immediate area. So whoever was in that car may know who might have owned that car. Any of that information is extremely valuable to us right now because it could be really significant in solving this case.
Kaylee Gonsalves was supposed to be among those in caps and gowns today, including many fellow members of the Greek system.
I'm really glad that the president brought them up, especially Kaylee. She was supposed to be here, so just thinking about her.
It is eerily quiet at the University of Idaho. With graduation over and most finals moved online, there are almost no students on campus. 1 month after the brutal murder of 4 students, and their families are anxious for any information. Victim Kaylee Gonsalves' parents met with the investigators. Have you or the family received any new updates on the investigation?
Well, part of our delay was we met with the investigators yesterday. The theme of the meeting was 2 things, was accountability and communication.
Attorney Shannon Gray says the family wants a more consistent stream of information from police. He says most of their questions about the investigation have still gone unanswered, but they are hopeful police are doing the right things. Hard to imagine what those families are going through, not only losing loved ones, but also just the frustration and anger that a suspect has still not been caught more than 1 month after the murders. As for that white car seen on video, it's grainy video. It's hard to tell whether that is actually even the model of the car that police are looking for.
We've said all along that we need people to be vigilant. We need people to
I
pay
like
attention.
Brian.
We're not sure exactly where the individual is.
Yeah,
And then that's the Idaho TikTok person that was sued. What we talked about last night. Now, let's go have a look at something real quick. Truth and transparency. I was not going to show this, but I wanted to show a little bit of this when she does this blackboard.
Oh yeah, I know which one. But the rooms.
Yeah. And she's going in, this is where she's going in, but she mentioned, she made a comment about people stealing her content, but I'm not stealing her content. I want to show you guys something on this blackboard she did.
Yeah,
Where
I
she's
think they were
going.
trying to throw us off with the car.
Could be. But if that's the case, where is the person that was driving that car? No?
We don't know.
Wait, this might not be the one. Nope.
Yeah, the one they captured on CCTV at the convenience store. Yeah, it's horrible, and it's taking so long to solve. Well, I guess it's not that long, according to the cops.
So what happened to her What am I doing wrong here?
We're looking for the video of the diagram. Is she
1 year ago, 3 weeks ago. Let me go to my history. Hang on. Okay. Don't get mad at me, Truth. I love you. I think you're a great creator.
Yeah, she did a real good job on that diagram. You go, girl.
Okay, we're not going to watch a lot of this, but I want to show you where she's getting into this weird theory about Dylan's room. Amazing, this what she did here.
In the bottom picture.
Okay, hang on.
Right there. Is anything that
Okay, right here. Here we go.
is anything that's written in black, okay, when it has to talk about the layout of the house, that's going to be from your police body cam. Anything that is in red, it is Daily Mail photos. So what you guys are looking at here, and go ahead and scroll down there. That's the, can you go down to the first floor? Right there. Okay. So this is the first floor, and off here to the left, that is from Zwillow. That is your first floor. That is bedroom number 1. Okay. That's your picture outside. That's your window outside. And in the bottom picture there, that's still part of the same room. That's where the closet is. But what's interesting, when you zoom in on the doorway, you're then going to see where the utility room is and then the laundry and bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what that is. When you zoom in, that's what those doors are. Now off to the right there where it says bedroom number 2, you're going to see, we're going to get to that. And that's going to be the footage that you guys saw on the body cam, September 1st, 2022. Okay. Now we're going to go up to the next one there. Perfect. Right here, this is your main level. I call it the main level, the second floor. And if you could just stay on that one. Thank you. So what we have here is the stairs that you are going to be walking up to get to this level. Go ahead and show the...
Okay, yeah, we're going to go to where she's going to break it down just about the Dylan part. I don't want to...
Right here.
I don't want her to get mad.
This is from one of the girls. Again, this is digital evidence. You're going to be coming up the stairs, and that has a half wall. It's a half wall where the stairs are. Okay, so go ahead and flip that back over then. All right, and then stay on the middle floor. Okay, perfect. So that's the half wall coming up, and it comes right up. Your stairs are coming right up into the living room. All right.
This whiteboard is great.
Great. Here, you can get to that one. All right. And then there it is, another angle. Those are the half stairs. And in the corner is going to be your television. That is the living room. And then if you can see how behind the female's head, that's where the window is. That's where the window is. And this is also that window.
Mm-hmm.
This was taken from the Daily Mail, had a video.
Yeah.
That's the window that you're seeing from behind her head here. That's that window that's looking into the living room. And this is when you look in the living room. Okay. And that's just one of the detectives / forensic team. And then what you're seeing here, those two pictures that you see right here and here, as well as here.
Mm-hmm.
Those are on this wall. Your leaves, right here. And this is on this small wall here. There's your leaves and the 2 photos. Okay. As well as down here, as you can see there.
Get to Dylan.
All right, so you're coming up those stairs, as you can see here. That's where the stairs are. Television is in the corner. There's a sectional here. Okay, and then when they have their friends over, They do a beer pong table, and they set their beer pong table. And this is actually a picture from the Daily Mail. This is the day of the murder. This was taken from an angle shots through this window. Okay. And right here is where they set up their beer pong table. That's what this is. Everybody was been wondering what the forensic team was gathering when they were here. You can see it here. That is the corner part, okay, of the flip cup table, the white. And that's what they are gathering evidence from, is all of the DNA.
She put a lot of work into this, huh, Chisme?
She sure did.
Yeah, this
She
is
really
great.
looked at the photos closely, and that takes time.
Mm-hmm. But about what she talks about Dylan is what I found very interesting.
From the cups. So that's what that's from.
And Dylan's the next
Now,
room.
We're going to get to this part where we're going to show, this is actually, it looks larger than it really is, but it's not. This is actually a very condensed
There we
area.
go. I want to get right here.
As you can see, it looks like, and if people are wondering what it is, now we're going to get to the part, which is, again, I do apologize that I just kicked the camera. That was my fault. I just kicked the camera. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to all the way to the right here. So, and this is how this was all done up. All right. So this is what your thumbnail looks like. And if people are wondering what this is from the Zwillow / online before they took it down. This is the room, and this is bedroom number 3. Okay, and we're gonna get to that layout.
All right, guys.
What we want you to first
Bedroom
look at
number 3
is this scarf, this headband. July 13th, 2025.
Okay, so let's remember that the bedroom 3 is the other bedroom on the second floor. Is where she's going to point out that this is definitely the room that Dylan was in. I don't know what's going on, guys. I think everybody left us, Chisme.
July 13th, 2021. She's wearing the bandana, scarf, and this is well over a year ago prior to the murders. July 25th, 2022. Again, she's posting this on social media. She's in the same vehicle. All right.
Hi, Elisa.
So this one is July 25th,
Chat got
2022.
quiet.
Again, the same scarf, bandana, whatever you want to call it. And then we get to October 2022, which is the 28th. October 28th, 2022. This is really important. You have this scarf hanging up, okay, in this bedroom, which is bedroom number 3. It's hanging up right here. And how do we know? You zoom in here, and that's the same type of oval shaped outlet protector. And then you look at this is your quote unquote closet that it's on a slider. So if you look back over here, the slider can go either which way. It's one door and it just slides across. That's what that is. And then if you also look at your door handle, and this is bedroom number 3. So here we are, October 28th, just a couple weeks before the murders. There's the bandana that she has been wearing in the summer of 2022 and in the summer of 2021. Okay. And then here it is here. And then what is this? This is an outfit from they went to not just a Halloween party. They went to a couple.
Sorry, guys. My oh, this cold is so at the end. I don't know about these bandanas. I mean, I see where she's getting at with the Dylan being in the room. That maybe, I think the bottom line is they're trying to say that maybe thinking Dylan was on the second floor, but at the end of the day, I think the person knew exactly. I even think that the person knew that these two girls were home. I think he knew exactly who lived in the house. But then something about these bandanas, or I don't know where she's getting at, to the point where they're wondering, why didn't Dylan stay in the second bedroom? And why did she go down to the first bedroom?
Or
But
she
how
might have
is
let
that
someone
possible?
borrow it. She could have let someone borrow the scarf, one of the roommates, in October.
Something's just weird about how. And then, of course, the transgender rumor, which I don't believe, but or care if she is. But here we go.
Cool. Just like most people do. But this is on October 28th, 2022. Then you have this taken, or at least posted, on 10/30. Okay. And here's Dylan, but it's in a different outfit. And actually, who's wearing this outfit is another female. I'm not going to say who I think it is. It just matters. I'm just showing that this outfit here, okay, is this outfit here. 2 days later, then this is uploaded. And it's like when some, I've done it with my friends. Oh, hey, can I wear that outfit? Well, yeah, you can wear it after I wear it, type of thing. Going back over here, this is the outline. This is that bedroom number 3. That stuff being hung up in bedroom 3. There's the closets. And now this is the same bedroom, but this is just the other angle so you can see where the window is. And then that's that. Okay.
Okay. Right here. She says, wait, that's not what I'm looking for. Where she just showed Dylan's bedroom being on that second floor.
If you can go back over to the far right.
Right.
All the way. Oh, well, like why would one do that? Oh, well, I don't want to be around loud noise anymore, so I moved my bed. It is an explanation, which is probably going to require, oh, well, like why would one do that? Oh, well, I don't want to be around loud noise anymore, so I moved my bedroom down there. Okay, great. Well, whatever it is.
Here we go.
Okay, is that you're going to have to explain to me why Dylan would be hanging up somebody else's scarf.
Patriotic.
Or then you're going to say Dylan was wearing somebody else's scarf all that time in 2021, 2022. And then October 28th, when this was uploaded, that's what she's wearing for the Halloween. Her scarf is right there in the back. You're going to have to get me off that. Now, the reason I think this is important is because the 2 surviving roommates were on the first level. Go back and listen to the press conference. Okay. Listen to the press conference. Explain to me how,
they were.
If you're on the first level and you're sleeping on the first level, why did you not sleep in your bedroom that night? Why did you not sleep in your bedroom that night? That's the only question I have. When people want to say, oh, she could have moved her bedroom. Absolutely. So she moved her bedroom between October 28th and November 13th. Even better. Why did you move your bedroom? How would one be able to, you can explain that. Absolutely. That's totally explainable. But there's going to have to be some type of an explanation, which is probably going to require, oh, well, like why would one do that? Oh, well, I didn't want to be around loud noise anymore, so I moved my bedroom down there. So for anybody that would be coming in the slider.
Okay, so let's look at this. So on the first floor, we know that bottom floor level is empty, right?
Supposedly it's empty. First floor.
That,
not the whole first floor, but that one room.
Exactly. So if this is the living room and we've got the kitchen, the room that we wondered about underneath Maddie's is the room that
is it at all possible
Dylan was supposed to be in. But they're saying that Dylan slept downstairs. Well, she was not sleeping downstairs September 1st of 2022 because one of those windows had nothing in it, unless that was the 6 roommates who either moved out. And that's why maybe Dylan had that bottom room. Maybe the 6th roommate had bedroom 3. She was done. She was moving out. And then maybe Dylan transitioned to that room. But then what would bring her back downstairs a month later? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, she would have already had the bed in there, so that wouldn't be it. You know, that she didn't have anything to sleep on. Or maybe she had cleaned everything out for Thanksgiving and she was going to get a new furniture because they were selling their stuff.
No, I don't think so. Because listen, we have Kaylee leaving, and supposedly the rumor is that Dylan was going into Kaylee's room. Okay. So now we've got the 2 girls saying they were on the first floor. Bethany Funk or Funke and Dylan Mortison. But she is showing us in this video that Dylan is on the 3rd floor in October, right? She's showing you the pictures. She's showing us the date.
Yes.
In September, which is a month prior to her showing pictures of being in bedroom number 3, which is right here, that's supposedly where she was. And we've got Xana's bedroom right here. Okay. So then that's October. But how is it a month after this room right here is a storage room on September 1st? Underneath this room, I'm sorry, guys. There's the room under Xana's is the window they look in, and it's got nothing in there. So if that's empty a month before she's in this room, Kaylee's moving out and she's supposedly moving into Kaylee's room. How did she end up back downstairs? And why?
Are you talking about the room with the golf set?
Yes.
That would be, to the left.
It's not
underneath
to
the
left.
living room.
No. The video is underneath the window to the right. Underneath
under
Xana's
Xana's.
room.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the one to the far left. And
I did
that there's-
too. But she clarified that in the beginning of this video.
Oh, okay.
But you're not understanding where I'm getting at. Okay, we've got 6 roommates. We've got Kaylee and Maddie upstairs. We've got Xana and Dylan, whoever on the middle floor. And then we've got 2 on the bottom. We've got 1 that's on the lease that has already finished and she left and she was done living there. Maybe she graduated. I don't know. I would love to figure out who she was. I'm sure I could if I really had time to look into it. But so then Dylan was in bedroom 3 in October, right? Because in September, we see that bottom bedroom is empty. So obviously she's in bedroom 3. But why did she go back downstairs if she was going to move into Kaylee's room and leave bedroom 3? It was not like anybody was moving in there.
Could it be because of the noise level? I read someone on chat said.
The noise level. She's a college kid, and as wild as she is with pictures of the knives and her in that purple wig acting crazy, like I don't think the noise would bother her. Let's just listen to a couple more minutes.
That when if you were the killer or killers, when you came in and you went to bedroom 3 and no one was there, you would think that they just weren't home, correct?
No.
Well, right. If you attempted to go in that bedroom, right?
No. Don't agree.
So then you didn't think that they were home.
No.
Right? my question is the cops would know this, the forensic people know this, they took pictures of the place.
No,
Was
no.
bedroom 3 door open or closed? But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to get me off.
Okay. I can't listen to that right now because I think the killer knew exactly who was home and what room he was going in and who was going to be into that room. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. And the dog was in the bathroom?
No, they're not saying where the dog was, but they're saying that he was in a different room. I think he was probably locked in Kaylee's room, but that's just my own personal opinion. Here she's going back to bedroom 3 with the whole Dylan thing.
Is it significant? Who knows? But the screen is out of this window. If you go and you check it out, you will see that there is a screen. The screen window is out of bedroom number 3. The screen.
Oh, yes. The cops are around there, and then the screen is down.
Okay, yeah, and I thought there was also a screen out by the back where the kitchen was over here, though. I thought that this screen was out. And it's laying on the ground by the... She's wrong there. Yeah, I'm convinced. She's definitely wrong right there. That screen is not the screen that's out.
It's
I
between
can
it's between those two. The screen is
It's
between
right
those
here.
two, but I can't tell.
It's this kitchen screen that's out. Because when you're looking from the back of the house, right off of the kitchen, in between, right about here is the couch. And there's a barbecue pit. And then you got that Xana's room underneath here where that stain is. The screen is not out. Well, I mean, it may be, but the screen's out right here laying over on the ground.
Yeah.
And the
I
couch
haven't really
is right about
noticed.
here.
I knew there was a screen out, on the ground, but I didn't really pay attention to the exact location.
Yeah, it was by the
So
kitchen.
she's saying it's right by that. She's saying it's all the way to the left where Dylan's room. She's saying Dylan was still in that room.
Oh, I guarantee you. I've got a picture of the window where the screen's at. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, let's go back and watch the body cam footage of the night where they go up to that window. You're going to have to take care of the chat, though, just because I'm going to have to full screen it because I recorded it and enhanced it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go watch the plunder one. Can you hear it?
I can hear you.
Can you hear it?
No, I don't hear it, but I hear you.
Did you hear that?
No.
Huh. And notice up in this top left window too, guys. Let me see what's going on with that sound.
Yeah, I thought someone was looking out through that window.
Right in the beginning, it might look like there's actually 2 in that window. Let's see. All right, tell me if you can hear it now.
Yes. See how loud it is? And then when the cops get there, it gets real quiet.
Yeah, I enhanced this.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go take my little girl out real quick. Monkey, I'll be right back. Let her pee real quick on the snow. Wait, let me just mute my mic real quick on this side.
Hey, ladies, how's it going?
See, who are they leaving?
Good.
Who are they?
I don't know. No, I don't. What's your first noise complaint?
Yeah, they did.
Get on the damn door.
Hey, who's the owner or who lives here?
I can go get them real quick.
Okay, thank you, please.
That's Dylan.
That's Bethany Chisme.
Okay, yeah, that's Bethany. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
that's Bethany. And the window that you just saw, you walked up to the house before I go let the little girl out. The window with those orange curtains that has that crack in it, that's the window they approach. So it's definitely the room under
To the right.
Xana's. So that tells me that we definitely know what room is Bethany's, and that is underneath the living room. All right. But that she had it wrong, so I'm going to show you after this the window where the screen's out.
Yeah, that's what
But I don't
was
want her. But listen, there could be a front screen out and a back screen. We're about to find out if the screen's out, because no, she said bedroom 3 screen was out, so 2 screens in the back should be out. The one under Maddie's room and the one by the kitchen. I only saw the one by the kitchen, and I tell you guys that I went through. Oh, there's my baby Fiona. Hi, baby girl. Maybe I'll show you the baby later. Hey, little baby. Come say hi. All right, here we go.
Okay, mine's starting to cry.
Right away. Oh, really? It just ditched it? Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car and around the back corner. Hey, property, take that back. There's a lot of fucking alcohol in there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, bad mouth.
Moscow, I said why? I don't know what sorority lives here. Got an 1122. Yes.
I was thinking those girls left that beer there in that backpack.
Blend into the yeah.
See, now everyone got quiet.
Keep your ass inside. Stop being a monster. Keep your little butt inside.
We're only here for a noise complaint. Come to the damn door.
Move.
Start the search. I just rang the doorbell.
Is that when he looks in? Oh, yes. There's not that much stuff in there.
Whoever lives here needs to come talk to us, or we're going to start doing a lot more. So just deal with noise.
Go tell them.
Yeah, just tell them to come to the front door. We'll deal with the noise complaint, and we'll leave. Yep, thank you.
Oh, someone in the back.
Come to the door, guys. Send whoever lives here down to the door. Not leaving. We can also see you.
Yeah. They're scared.
Oh my God.
I wonder who he talked to back there in the patio.
I don't know. I got to stay on the screen though, guys. So I can't see chat. I'm going to watch it on my phone.
Yeah, that.
Ooh.
If someone just moved in room, it would be cluttered. Is this really?
Okay.
So I just looked for everyone that lives here, and they're not here right now.
No one's here that lives here at all.
No one's here that lives
So
here.
everyone here is trespassing?
Well, no one's here that's trespassing.
Okay, 1 second. Hey, little girl. Okay, so is that David Loach on the left?
I've heard some YouTubers say that is, but I'm not sure. But I think he was standing out in the back when the cop went around and asked him to go tell them to come to the door.
Yeah, I think that I heard too that was David Loach.
And then that other one is Showwater.
Supposed to be Jack Showwater. Jake.
Oh, it is?
Jake, Jack. There's so many J's and D's but you saw that was the bottom right window that they went and looked in, and it was empty.
Yeah.
No one that lives here is here right now.
Yeah.
So where'd they go?
They're just not here. I have no clue where they went. No clue.
So you guys just throwing a party in their house at this
They were
time?
here
And
at one point. They're not here right now. I just searched all.
See, I don't think that looks like Showwater at all.
I don't either now that I look at, or David Loach. Because David Loach is the big, muscular guy.
They left
Because
and went over to some other party.
Hunter's wearing the white necklace.
Yeah.
That's what Ryan said. Hunter? Oh, the twin.
What twin?
Hunter is Dylan's twin, isn't it? And Ryan
Yes.
says that's Hunter with the white necklace.
Ethan's twin.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, Ethan.
Okay.
Shit, I'm like,
And that
me
was
too.
yeah, because there was 2 cars that were parked there. The red Jeep was Ethan's, and I think the black one was Hunter's. The blue one was Xana's, and we know which one was Kaylee's. I don't know what Maddie drove, or Funk, or Mortison. All right, let's go check out that one from Plunder.
Dragonet said that's the same dude from the other body cam video, though. From the band, from that field?
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to 3555.
Because she hadn't told them yet about the panties, and she goes, oh, and they left my panties in
Yeah, let's go. I actually have not heard this yet.
Yeah, it's on the ground.
Oh, it is there,
Yeah,
though?
I
Okay.
just left it there.
Is it damaged?
Talking for the fuse box?
Yeah.
I put that back in there.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So it clicked back in. And in the, I mean, obviously
Let's go back a
the
little bit.
hood, it opened. So
Yeah, I don't know.
She said she's going to get a ring built on her side of the house. I wonder if she ever did.
Lock your guys' cars. I know we tend to forget it. I tend to forget to lock my car. People think, oh, it's Moscow.
Yeah.
They know
I
it's
always
safe,
think
but
that.
there's always,
I'm just glad I took my TV out.
Oh,
That sucks.
it's not safe, guys.
Do you have any questions or anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Is this an alpha fee? Like,
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
How did you know?
Alpha fee on your pants.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, we work on U of I. That's our main
Oh, gotcha.
main spot. So.
Officers.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we haven't done a cop talk with you guys yet in a while. I don't know if you guys are wanting to do one.
What is that? Oh, like at the house?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do one.
Yeah.
Actually.
Shoot me an email and let me know.
We'll set it up.
Cool.
Because
What? To our president.
perfect. We have them, and I remember Aaron Agidius from OCRI.
Are these
comes,
cops
and,
picking up these
we'll
college
talk, and it's good
chicks?
for, especially, a lot of people have been here for a few years. They've done them, but new people is good to just refresh and get some of that information
Like a
after answering
safety
questions and
awareness,
stuff.
I guess.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a fun time. So we are there to answer whatever questions you guys may have. So cool. Yeah. All right. Cool. Take care. Yep.
Okay, so where's the underwear thing? The 35.55?
Mm-hmm. What in the world?
Everything.
A shoe print over here, and then there's
What?
like my fuse box under my steering wheel is like opened. I'll go get my keys. I just left it like
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and steal it. Why would you open the fuse box?
What?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Someone went into her fuse box, and then they got all of her stuff and put it in her suitcase, and then they left it behind her car, but they didn't steal anything.
Did they pull any? Did they pull?
And then
did they pull any
Not
fuses?
seeing any cameras.
no.
You guys don't have a ring
Yes.
doorbell camera or anything like that around?
Yes, sure.
Oh, really?
Smart.
I don't think any of our neighbors do.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any.
But we have like a Facebook page, so I was gonna ask on there.
Ooh, a Facebook page.
Like, they didn't take anything. Like, I had this ring up there, and they didn't even take it. But like that little fuse box is
Oh,
like
yeah.
opened, and then there was a
Is there any damage behind it?
no, not that I can tell. So I don't really know, but I'm just
Got
like,
your secret?
no.
You have your phone on you?
Yeah.
I sat on it though, so hopefully I didn't mess it up.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much we can do with it, but it could. We've been having kind of an uptick in vehicle prowls, and say we find a suspect, we find it, say we find something that matches that tread, we just kind of. Now, I mean, it'd be really hard to, unless the person.
Yeah.
Said, yep, I both there. I mean, which is probably smart. But so when did you get back from Boise? You
I
said?
got back last night at like 5 p.m.
Okay, so 5 p.m.
And
last
then
night.
I
Did you lock your car?
No,
Okay.
but I came back out here about 9 because my TV was in here and my like pillows. Except that I don't know, I like heard like someone like talking in there. It was really weird, and then I just grabbed it and went back.
Yeah, it's kind of a bowl right
Yeah.
there. I mean, people could be up in their backyards.
Yeah, it freaked me out though.
So 9 o'clock is when you last saw your car in like a normal
Yeah.
position. And your TV wasn't stolen?
No, because I grabbed it and I got it inside. The only thing in here was my suitcase.
Where was your
Footprint
suitcase?
on the car seat.
So it was in the back.
It was like right here. And like this stuff was already in here.
Okay.
And then it
Yeah, that's definitely odd. It's odd because your fuse box still. However, maybe I'm not trying to like scare you or anything, but maybe they're trying to steal your car. So we have had, yeah. Nice. Okay. So when your roommate came out here, I opened up.
I don't think so. I didn't ask it.
Okay.
I think Walker.
Or if the doors were open. I mean.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any damage to your vehicle?
Not that I can tell.
What about the fuse box? A little lid for that.
I don't know what it's like normally. The only thing I kind of noticed was like my hood thing. Like if you look down here, it looks like it's like bent like the other way a little bit.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, they might have been.
But the fuse box like lids on the ground.
Did you look
Why
inside the hood?
doesn't she have an alarm on her car?
Okay, I mean, it's okay. Do you want us to look and check?
Yeah, you can.
You want to pop the hood into it?
I just saw it and it was like
Yeah.
a lot of
They
wires.
take it
Well,
for
sounds like to me
granted that
someone might have been trying to.
something bad
Mind
could
if I put this
happen.
fuse box?
It's fake power.
And I started my car already and it started. So
Nothing wrong with it.
no,
Did you like it?
no. But I put it in reverse for a second to make sure the brakes didn't work right.
Hey, Toy.
I mean,
She shows both body cams.
So, did I miss the panty thing?
No, she'll tell them at the end.
I don't know. There's supposed to be a cap there with like an oil filter.
yeah.
I don't know though. I have a Subaru too, but
But how could she forget that? Well, I guess they don't
so-
talk about
It's normal.
creeps.
what we are. So we'll document everything.
Now, you see the apartment right behind that camera?
Yeah,
Let me pause it.
We've had people's cars.
I sure
Let me
did.
go back.
My words of recommendation always is lock it.
Okay, well, you
That's
see.
their crimes of opportunity.
Okay, you see right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the house.
Yeah, that's a house in the middle. And
Yeah.
behind the cops is Jack's house.
That's what I was just saying before. That was where Jack supposedly lives with Adam, the roommate, the bartender.
More often than not, sometimes, very rarely do they break windows and actually break in. More often than not, they pull door handles until they find one that's unlocked.
That's probably what they did. Well, if they're trying to take the car is.
Oh, no robbery, Toy. This is an incel, I think.
Yeah, that one was locked. Yeah.
Because what would he?
How's it
why would he
going?
put her panties
Oh,
in?
not too bad.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll document everything. I'll get my card
Stop.
number on it.
You want to say hi?
Someone. Loud call. Okay, right around this time is when she says it. She
I would
remembers.
just tell all your roommates to make sure your doors and everything are locked, and the ring doorbell is definitely going to help you guys out. So.
Probably put it like this.
Yeah, you probably put something like that. Other than if you sell the doorbell, I don't know what a doorbell's going to really do.
I know, I feel like we wouldn't see
But you
it.
can get the cameras.
And also, because like this little walkway goes right back to my room, so I like to see who's going back there.
Sure. Well, let me. I'll give you my card with the case number. Did you take photographs of that?
Yeah. I didn't take photographs of the fuse box.
Yeah, you want to just. You said it seemed bent a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's like the hood. When it opens the hood.
Was there a little like a little
Yeah, it's
lid
on
on
the
it?
ground.
Oh, it is there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just left it there.
It was the damage.
Sorry for the
How
fuse box.
weird.
I put that back in there.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So it clicked back in.
Yeah,
And
it's
in
gonna
the,
look in
obviously
there and then
the
she's gonna-
hood,
she's gonna
it
tell.
opened. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to go back and look at the calls for service at this time.
Honestly, I think you're right. I think if I took, like,
Hey,
like,
sweet
wow,
Caroline.
The stuff they put in my suitcase is so
I'm going to have to go back and look at the
and no
calls
chance someone's playing a prank on you.
Yeah, I don't
Okay, now.
at this time.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, then I
Hey,
found my
sweet
underwear like
Caroline.
shoved
See,
right there.
In
she
the,
just
in the
said
cup
it.
holder.
Yeah, and I took it out, but it was in there, and I was like, that's
You missed it. She just said it.
Not that I can tell.
There's no other. Oh, no, you're
I
good.
heard it.
Oh, okay.
And no chance someone's playing a prank on you.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I don't
Okay.
see why anyone I know would ever do that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and then I found my underwear like shoved right there.
In the cup holder.
Yeah, and I took it out, but it was in there, and I was like, that's really
You
weird.
said nothing's missing of your knowledge.
Not that I can tell.
There's no other. Oh no, you're good. Like footprints or anything on this side either.
Yeah.
They should have
Okay.
taken it in. The DNA.
I know it's not much, but we could take one more picture maybe the footprint next to a ruler.
I took it next to my flashlight, so we can
Okay.
measure the flashlight.
Perfect. So this is my card. If you
Okay. Okay. So, what did she have an extra pair of underwear in her car? Why
don't
would they
know.
put them in the cup holder and not like take them as like a little souvenir?
I don't know. She did say that they put her sunglasses and her other things that she had in the middle compartment, and they put it inside the suitcase, and then they left the suitcase out behind that car. That her suitcase was in the trunk, in the hatchback.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a bizarre. I would like to ask somebody about that, like Dale Carson. It's so weird that you would bundle them up and put them in the cup holder.
I think he
Hey, Laura.
played with himself and then used that
You know
to
what?
pet himself.
Well, he could have. Oh, God, the things that we talk about on this show.
Well, we have to, because
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And he could have, and he. Ooh, and she touched him.
they
You
should have
know
taken
what?
them in.
Why? Yeah, why wouldn't the police would have wanted them to see if there was something like that?
Sniff. Do the sniff test.
No, Ray. I mean, I can understand. I was gonna actually. It's funny. Earlier, I was gonna say that he. Why didn't he take him with him for like a scratch and sniff later? But I didn't want. Don't make me cough. My cold's almost gone. I don't want to start
Oh my
coughing.
God.
Hang on, guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he used them for sexual gratification. Oh, I thought you had muted.
I was. Every time I laugh, I start to cough, but it's such the end of it that it just triggers it.
And why didn't she, I would have thought that was weird. I would have told the cops that first, but I guess she just like.
Yeah, but why not bag him? Like, I mean, if you say to a cop that there's, and he's worried about taking a picture of a footprint, why didn't you say, well, she's like, I took him out of there. Well, why wouldn't you have said, well, where are those underwear? Because it's kind of strange to see if it was something weird, because that could be a form of voyeurism, right?
Yeah. And then also the suitcase would have had fingerprints on it. Unless the guy was wearing gloves. But
All right.
The panties, yeah, that is weird.
1 second, guys. Let me see what's going on. We're gonna wrap it up soon. It's 3:00 in the morning.
I wonder how long he's been collecting panties. Not collecting them, but using them for that.
Well, I'm gonna have to go back now and look. Wait, what is this? 1 second. I'm looking at Reddit, guys.
Yeah, here we have to be triple, quadruple, careful. Look around, look behind you. Like an owl.
Mm-hmm. All right, what's going on? So, reason university yield the lawsuit. It's the police chief saying Dan Abram live for discussion. Law and crime interview with Moscow PD spokesman Aaron Schnell. Yeah, we got all this.
Also, Ryan Upchurch is back with the Kylie Rodney case.
Let Kylie rest.
Kylie Rodney case. CASC.
Okay, so the taxi driver, Uber driver, is haunted by delivering girls to their death.
I thought it was an Uber driver.
Yeah.
Same thing?
First it was a taxi driver, then it was an Uber driver, and then it was some kid that was on the campus security. And then it opens the Daily Mail article.
Then they said it was a ride share. Whoever it
Here,
was, they sure did
spread.
leave. They left Jack Shawwater at there. Ditched him. Oh yeah,
Is there?
Zodiac. Night Stalker. The people caught the Night Stalker.
Does anyone know when Ethan? I'm not Ethan. When Dylan and Bethany supposedly moved in?
No. Someone in chat said someone moved in September.
Well, it was probably Bethany or Dylan.
Maybe they just didn't feel like they fit in at the time, so that's why she slept downstairs. You know, it's
So,
always hard going in to a new place like that.
so August 22, there was another incident. Was that with the underwear? Let's see.
No. Oh yeah, I think that's what Ray was saying.
Wait. Yeah, I'm not going to watch her again. All right. That's it, guys. I'm going to bed.
Okay,
Tomorrow's Christmas Eve today. We got a Christmas. Everyone have
Merry
a
Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy New Year. And I hope Santa brings you guys everything you want. It's very annoying, this case. We'll pick it up hopefully by the new year. They will have somebody in custody. All right, guys. Thank you for coming in. Chisme, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. All right, guys. Keep your babies safe and stay vigilant.